What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Reseller Greatness podcast. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for this episode, but I think, we need to have this conversation. It needs to be said. It would be a disservice not to talk about this, but like one of the biggest issues in reselling, and I am guilty of this, the first person to raise my hand. There is a scarcity mentality amongst resellers. There is a crab in the bucket mentality amongst resellers. And I think for a large amount of people and the community in whole, you know, this is the only industry that I've ever seen or been involved in where the crab in a bucket mentality is so strong. And the crab in a bucket is an analogy where if you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket, whenever one starts to climb out, the other crabs pull them back down into the bucket. So they don't ever let anybody escape. Whenever someone starts doing a little bit better, they pull them down. And, in reselling, especially like for my lawn care business, my tree service, the brick and mortar store, like other brick and mortar stores will post the store. There's no animosity. There's no problem. They post my store. I post their store. Hey, go over to this store. This store is great. Hey, if you're in this neck of the woods, go over here. This store is great. So like they're willing to help. They're willing to collaborate. It's not always competition. For the tree service, the lawn service, like if there's a house on a route that a guy doesn't do anymore, he'll throw me the house. If there's a house on a route that I don't do, it's outside of my area, I'll throw that person the house. Or if there's a job that they're not capable of doing, they'll throw it to me. I throw them a couple dollars for throwing me the deal, but it's more about the collaboration. And I think that the crab in the bucket mentality for resellers, and like I said, I am guilty of it coming from the standpoint of scarcity. I've never been one to pull anybody down. I've never been one to hate on someone else's success. I want everybody to win, but from the standpoint of scarcity, I used to be like this. So, in the United States of America, before I was, awakening, but before I had the realization that we are in the most wasteful, most abundant country in the entire world. And part of what opened my eyes to this was a couple of things. When my wife and I, when we were on the come up, when we weren't so fortunate and we were trying to, scrap and do the best that we could, we had to come up with money to pay bills. We had to, come up with money to pay something that unforeseen has happened. We used to go on what we used to jokingly call the scrap route. And the scrap route was looking on the internet, looking in our city, seeing what neighborhood had the bulk trash for the next day. And my wife and I used to get out and go and drive around with flashlights and see who was throwing away something good that I could sell locally or I can sell on eBay. And the amount of stuff that we used to find that people were just throwing away was just like totally mind blowing, where like they didn't care. Like I found like Apple II computers in the trash can, $0 cost of goods, sold them for $250 the same night. I found Red Bull refrigerators in the trash that I sold on OfferUp for $400. I have found toys, Silverhawks, old toys in the package that someone threw away that I then sold on eBay for $1,000. I found 3 or 4 of them that sold for $600, $800, $1,000 that people just threw away. And in the United States of America and a lot of other countries that, are listening to this, if you got a computer, you got an internet, you're very fortunate compared to most. Just the amount of stuff that people disregard and throw away and don't care for is, totally mind-boggling. But like it didn't, even still, seeing people throw away Apple computers, seeing people throw away Silverhawks that sell for $1,000, seeing people just throw away tons of stuff, it still didn't get me to the point where I was not afraid anymore. I was not scared anymore. And I think like coming from a reseller perspective, that's where the crab in the bucket mentality comes from. It comes from fear and it comes from being afraid and it comes from being scared, because much like everybody else, even me to this day, I'm still trying to figure it out. Once you think you got everything figured out, like life is really good about showing you that you don't. So you have to be humble. You have to practice being humble. I'm still learning every single day. I'm still trying to get better every single day. I'm still trying to be the best version of me that I could be every single day. You know, we can have a better business. We could be a better spouse. We could be a better parent. We could be a better friend. I could do better in every single aspect that I do. And that's what I concentrate. That's what I focus on. But I think like as a reseller for a long time, even finding stuff in the trash, I was still in this scarcity mentality where I was afraid to talk about what I did, afraid to network with other resellers, afraid to talk to a vendor because maybe they're going to jump the price, afraid to make a connection, make a business to business relationship just because I was scared. And even after finding stuff in the trash, even after going to countless different flea markets, countless different thrift stores, it still didn't hit me that there is so much opportunity and so many items out there up until very recently. So if you guys are familiar with me, I have built the number one eBay business for pre-owned clothing in the entire world. And nobody else in the entire world beat me in most amount of items, most amount of solds in all the men's clothing category sections. I didn't get to that point until I figured out that I needed to collaborate with people and not compete with people. I was the biggest lone wolf. And if you guys are familiar, you guys know, if you followed me on Instagram, I didn't show my face. I was very private. I didn't have a YouTube channel until a year ago. And I've been selling on eBay for over 15 years. So I was an absolute stone cold lone wolf. And that was because I was just scarcity mentality, not thinking in abundance, always on the defense, you know, never taking the offense. And when I stopped thinking in a scarcity mentality, when I stopped thinking on the defense and started going on the offense, when I started thinking that there is more out there, more to this, that's when my business absolutely exploded. So in 2019, I did $1.2 million by myself, lone wolf, didn't talk to anybody, no connections, just going to the flea market, going to 55 thrift stores a week. And it wasn't until COVID forced me to kind of step out of my comfort zone. And you guys see me talking on here all day. You might think that I'm some kind of social butterfly, but I'm not. This is outside of my comfort zone, what I'm accustomed to. I'm the person who in the class will sit in the back. I'll pay attention, never going to raise my hand, never going to talk, never going to do anything. I'm just going to chill, take my notes, do my work, get out of there and go home. So like for me, talking is like outside of my comfort zone. For me, going to the flea market and shaking hand, kissing babies and being El Presidente, that's outside of my comfort zone. But like the version of me that you see today is like the totally refined version that took me 10 plus years to get there, where I'm giving away all of the secrets, all of the information, everything that worked for me to do $1.2 million in 2019. And then in the subsequent years, do 2.5 million. In the subsequent years, do 5 million. My business absolutely exploded when COVID hit, not because of COVID, because it forced me to rely on other people, to network with other people, to realize, to see that there is more to this business than just me head down with blinders on, not talking, not wanting to network, not wanting to make a relationship, nothing. When I started to collaborate with everyone instead of competing with everyone, my business exploded. And I was forced to do this because COVID happened. We had 2 weeks to flatten the curve, which ended up being 6 months, it felt like. All the stores were closed. So I needed inventory. So I needed to network. I had to reach out to people who I saw at the thrift. I had to reach out to people who I saw at the flea market. I had to make posts on social media saying, hey, if you have inventory, I'm ready to cash out. I had to start asking people, hey, we're doing a deal. Do you know anybody else who has anything? Do you have any more? I had to start making these relationships and finding these people in order for me to get more inventory. And the most valuable asset in my business, I thought back in 2019 and before, was me sitting my butt in the chair, listing items on eBay. That was the most valuable asset to my business. When COVID happened, the world shut down. I was forced to collaborate, not compete, forced to network, forced to talk to people, forced to make the relationships. The most valuable asset in my business became not me sitting my butt in the chair. It became all of the relationships and the inbound inventory that I had. that became the most valuable asset to my business, where today, 4 years after COVID, I have more clothes than I know what to do with. We're selling wholesale 4,000 pieces of clothes per week, 1,000 pairs of shoes, 1,000 hats, a couple thousand hats. We're selling video games. The amount of inventory that is out there is unfathomable for us to wrap our head around. I read an article the other day that says the amount of clothing in America alone could last 6 generations. So our great, 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 great grandchildren could wear the items that we have now. That's how much abundance that we have in America. But even knowing all of this, it still took me a long time to realize that I can take a lesser offer for this item. I can maybe pay $1 more for this item, because I say this all the time, some of the money all the time is better than all the money some of the time. So the scarcity mentality is on two fronts. It's the sourcing front and the selling front. I too used to be afraid to undersell an item for $1. In my early days on eBay, I would fight tooth and nail to get the price that I want. And if the offer wasn't there, I would walk. When I learned that some of the money all the time is better than all of the money some of the time, again, my business and sales exploded, because one of the metrics that I always keep an eye on is number of items that I sell. And magically, every single time as I sell more items, guess what happens? I make more money. I do not make more money being in the storage business. And for a good amount of time of my eBay reselling career, I was a glorified storage business owner. I was storing items. They were not making money for me. The only time our items make money for us is when they sell. If we are storing them, they are a liability. They are not an asset, because it costs money to store. Whether you have a storage unit, even if they're in your home, they cost money to store. So we talk about this analogy as well in the group, the parking lot analogy. Every single person out here listening to this has a finite amount of space in which they can store items. Maybe you have 100 pieces, like our friend Audrey in New York. She has a very, very small closet. That's all she's got. Maybe she can store 100 pieces. That's her parking lot. Maybe you're like Tim in the group. He built his own building out there in Montana. He has 10,000 square feet, but still he doesn't have 20,000. He doesn't have 100,000. He's got 10,000 square feet. So the amount of cars that Audrey can park in her 100 unit parking space, the amount of items that Tim can park in his 10,000 unit parking space, if Audrey only parks 100 pieces per year, that's the amount of money she's going to make. But if she can park 200, 300, 400, 500 cars in the same 100 car parking lot, she's going to make more money. Same for Tim, same for me, same for people out there. So we got to keep the money turning. If the offer isn't 1,000% exactly what our heart was set on and we was banking on, that's okay. Sell the item. We're profitable. Our buy cost is there. There's enough margin where we can go out, and this is what helped me the most. I can sell this item. It's not precious. It's not rare. I can sell this item, and this is what helped me out the most. It wasn't the flea markets. It wasn't going on the trash route. It wasn't any of that. When I discovered that I could sell this item and walk into any thrift store in America and replace it, my scarcity mentality decreased dramatically. When I can sell this item, click the blue button that says sell, and I can walk into any thrift store in America and replace it, that helped me the most to overcome the scarcity mentality. None of this stuff is rare. We might think it's rare. It's not rare. Recently, I've been in warehouses where perceived rare items, whatever kind of rare item you want to think about, I've been in warehouses where they have 40,000 pieces of this that they've been in charge of to dispose of in another country, a third world country, whether it be Iraq or something. They have been charged with disposing of these items to what? Keep the image of it being scarce. But there's nothing scarce. There's nothing rare. There are companies that are tasked with making items disappear to maintain the front that this item is rare or scarce for their price. but there's nothing rare. So if you have a polo shirt and your heart is set on, I want to get $30, but someone offers you $29.99, you say, no, thank you. $30, that's where I'm at. Listen, we can walk in any thrift store in America and replace that item. Not only replace that item, but go back and get 3 or 4 more. There is nothing rare. There is nothing scarce. Some items it's worth holding on to. If you have like a grail item that's worth $500 and someone offers you $5 or $50, sure. You cannot walk into any thrift store in America and replace this DMX wrap tee that's worth $500. So maybe that one you hold on to for a little bit more of the money, that's fine. But for your everyday value, your bread and butter, items that are out there everywhere, sell them. You can walk into any thrift store in America and replace it with not only one, but many more. And the amount of people that are donating items, the amount of waste in this country, there is no more reason to have a scarcity mentality. So like I said, for 11 plus years, from 2008 until COVID, I didn't talk to anybody, nobody. I went to the same flea market, saw the same people, saw the same vendors, and I didn't make any relationships with them. It was every single time that we spoke, it was like it was our first time doing business. I was very short. How you doing? Thank you. Keep it rolling. I never made the initiative to build that relationship any further than to do a repeat business. And when I figured out that the name of this game is to do long-term business with long-term people, that's another nugget that helped me get past the I can go to any thrift store in America and replace this item. And I think resellers as a whole, we get stuck in the scarcity mentality for a couple of reasons. One is we're new to doing this and we don't quite understand the grasp or the reality of this, where it's not a business about buying stuff and storing stuff. It's a business about buying stuff and, yes, selling stuff. If it's $1 or $2 or $3 less than what you wanted, so long as you're turning a decent profit, it gives you money and profit to go out and replace that one and buy another one or buy 2 other ones or buy 3 other ones and grow and build your business. That's the name of the game. Ask me right now in the comments, what is the last item that you quote unquote undersold? And I wouldn't be able to tell you. I would not be able to tell you the last item that I quote unquote undersold. Every single item that I click the blue button on is profitable, allows me to replace the item and go out and get an additional one or 2 additional ones. That's mission accomplished. Again, if it's Holy Grail and you cannot walk into any thrift store and replace it, sure, maybe you could be a little bit more patient. Maybe you could be a little bit more strict. But if this is an item that's in every single thrift store in America, guys, please sell it, go out and get 2 more and do the same exact thing over and over again. Don't make the mistakes that I did. I grew my business tooth and nail by myself, lone wolf, like a fool, 10 plus years to get to $1.2 million. When I started opening up my mouth and talking to people, my business doubled in the matter of a year or 2. My business doubled again in a year or 2 after that. You know, my business has exploded today where we're selling 4,000 items per day. Do the math. We sell them for $650 each. We sell 4, 5, 6,000 items. It doesn't matter. You can get the items everywhere, whether you go to the bins, go to the flea market, go to the thrift, you buy liquidation, you buy whatever. There is more product available today where we don't have to have the scarcity mentality, where we don't have to have the crab in a bucket mentality, where if we see somebody doing something better, we pull them down. If we see somebody doing something that maybe we don't agree with, we hate on them. No problem. Let everybody run their business how they see fit. But please, one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made is not opening up my mouth and telling people what I do, who I am, and I'm a reseller. Recently in the group, and shout out to Jean Queen, she had a great topic this week on the morning call where we all talked about kind of like our 30-second elevator pitch, because we're not in front of the vendors for 20 minutes. We kind of have to show the vendor that we are professional, show the vendor we know what we're doing, introduce ourselves professionally, and show them that we are the right person for this job. So if you've been watching my videos, I do not go to the flea market that's right down the street that I've been going to for 15 years. El Presidente, they know me there. I shake hands. Everyone's holding stuff. They're this, they're that. If I would have went to that flea market on my very first video, people would be like, yeah, we get it. You've been going there for a long time. Great, no problem. But all of my flea market videos, if you go all the way back to the beginning, I turn on the camera and say, hey, I'm 4 hours away from my house. I've never been here, but we're going to make it happen. Hey, I'm 4 hours away from my house. I've only been here once, and we have one relationship. Let's see if they're here today. Hey, I'm 6 hours away from my house. I've never been here. And now you're seeing my videos where, hey, I'm 4 hours away from my house. I go to this flea market once every 4 to 6 weeks. And now I have a bunch of people here that I've built the relationship with, and they're holding stuff for me. So I know confidently I can drive 5 hours away, fill up my car, come home, and make the trip worthwhile. And this weekend, I went again, 4 hours from my house. It was a little bit rainy. I filled up probably 3/4 of my cart. Not a great day, not a great turnout, but due to the relationships, I filled up overflowing my car because the ones and twos and threes that I was out there getting only filled up 3/4 of my basket. We're talking maybe 20 pieces. I can't drive 8 hours round trip for 20 pieces. That's crazy. But the relationships that I made, bang, 126 pieces from this lady, 75 pieces from this lady, 40 pieces over here. I'm meeting somebody in the parking lot. Right after he leaves, I'm meeting someone else in the parking lot, all the way to the point where my car was overflowed. My wife and I could barely drive home. And we only found 20 items ourselves, onesie twosies. But people were holding tens. We ended up leaving with over 700 items due to the relationships. Great items. No trash. I don't buy trash. Only great items. And that is because of the relationships. I'm texting people, hey, I'm going to be up there in 2 weeks. Get ready. Hey, I'm coming in 2 weeks. Hey, great. Thank you for looking out for me. I'm going to be back in 1 month. Hey, thank you for looking out for me. I'll see you in 4 weeks. Keep bringing this stuff. I'll buy all of this. Also, do you have shoes? Also, I got a guy coming with me next time. He's looking for shoes. Be on the lookout for Hokas, for On Clouds, for Vapor Max, for Alpha Flyknits. Be on the lookout for all of these things. I got a guy. He can pay for you. He can pay you, and you can end up making more money. Collaborating, not competing. I could be hating on these people and say, oh, I'm over here in this town 4 hours away, and these guys are getting all of the good stuff. Or open up my mouth and tell them, hey, I'm a professional. I have the #1 pre-owned men's clothing business on eBay, 50,000 items. We do a couple $1 million per year. I'm not from here. I will be up here very regularly. I'll be back in 2 weeks. If you find anything, I'm your guy. You have just won the lottery, the reseller lottery, the flea market lottery, because we have now met. Explain to them who you are, what you do. Develop your elevator pitch, like we did this week in the morning call with Gene Queen. Who are we? What can we do? I let them know that I can facilitate a lot of clothing. That is a very, very, very important word. It's not, hey, I can buy a lot of clothing. That's great. Buy a lot of clothing means I'm never going to see you again. I can facilitate a lot of clothing, which means I can buy it, I can get it sold, and next time I see you, I'm going to have a pocket full of money once again. So all of these places that I go throughout the state of Florida, through Georgia, when I went up to New York City, when I get to California, I'm looking for the people, not the products. And that's another thing that we've been talking about in the morning call with our good friend Arwin from the UK. He joined me when I did the whole Florida route. We came, we saw, we conquered, undefeated, found a bunch of stuff. And we were talking and he goes, I get it. You're not here looking for the products. You're here looking for the people. And that's right. If I do find a couple products here and there, bang, 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 that's great. But I'm here looking for the people that have access to the products. What kind of people in my niche, your niche may be different, my niche, have access to the products? People who go to the bins, people who buy storage units, people who do estate cleanouts, people who source at thrift stores, who source other vendors at the flea market. All of these people I want to identify quickly, so that way I can try to set up a B2B, business to business relationship, because I have a business that sells online. I tell them, I'm honest, I'm straight up. They have a business that sells at the flea market. They are doing the same thing as me. However, their audience is 8 miles away. That's all who comes to a flea market. My audience is 8 billion people worldwide. So again, there's a price discrepancy. There is a arbitrage between local and worldwide. So for me, I'm constantly looking for the people, not the product, because I am trying to collaborate. And when I see them, I want to pay them respectfully. I never negotiate. You guys watch my videos. I've done thousands of deals on YouTube. I don't negotiate. I don't beat anybody up. I am respectful. Why? Because I'm not in a crab in a bucket mentality. I want them to make money. I want them to feel good about doing business with me. I want them to succeed. I want them to grow their business, because if they grow their business, if they feel good about doing business with me, what do you think happens? It starts with buying 2 hats. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I hope everybody is good. Next week, I buy 5 hats. Next week, I buy 10 hats. Next, 20, 40, 75 pieces, 125 pieces. Because as their business grows, my business grows, and we can have a symbiotic relationship where everybody just grows and levels up together, because I'm not beating them up. I'm not taking advantage of them. They love to do business with me. The money is always there. The money is always good. You don't need a big bankroll to do this. Like I said, I started out with 2 hats. Now it's 4 hats. Now it's 10 hats. Then it's 20, 30, 40, 50 pieces, so on and so forth. So if I had a crab in a bucket mentality, I could sit here and go, man, I'm giving these people $750 first thing in the morning, and like, they don't deserve $750. All they did was find us at the bins. All they did was wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. All they did was wash this and prep this and fold it nicely in a bag. All they did was give me first look. All they did was tie it in a garbage bag and say good morning for me coming to see them. That's all they did. All they did was spend all week to go find it. They don't deserve $750. They're only selling at the flea market. I have an advantage. I'm selling online. I'm just going to give them $2 per piece. That's how a lot of resellers are, where they went to the bins all week. They woke up early all week. They found the best stuff. They have acquired the education. They have washed it. They have prepped it. They have given me first opportunity. They have woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning so I can roll out of bed at 5 and get there at 6:30. They have done all of these things behind the scenes and have presented me items before anybody gets to look at them. So I am more than happy to offer them a price where they are happy, they can make a living, they can pay their bills, and they can live happily ever after. Because if they're happy, I'm happy, and we're both going to grow our business. So I think like beating people up, being disrespectful, all of this kind of stuff is very, very, very short-sighted. If the people that I do business with on my videos at the flea market did not want to do business with me, they would not hold the inventory for me. They would put it out, and I would have to fight and scrap with anybody else and see what I can find in their booth every single time that I see them. But they hold it, they give me the bag, they let me select what I want, and everything else they give to everybody else. This is a choice. This is an option. They are collaborating. They don't want me competing with everybody else. They want me to come with as much money as possible and cash them out. Get yourself into the position where everything goes through you and then it goes out. That is the place to be, and that comes with collaboration. That's it. So before I had the scarcity mentality, I never took the initiative to position myself where everything goes through me. I would just see them when I see them, and if I could grab a couple things, I can grab a couple things, and that is that. And as far as like the community, everybody else out there, like this, like that, there's a lot of people that want you to do very well, whether it be at the flea market, at the bins, your friends, your family, anywhere you look. Everybody wants you to do well until you start doing better than them, and then they don't like it anymore. So we have to come to that understanding as well. There have been a lot of people that I've had to leave behind because they all want you to do good until you start doing better than them, and then it's a problem. And that's okay. Not everybody is meant to be a lifelong associate or friend. Not everybody is meant to go to the top, but the more information that I've started to give online, and I've given away maybe the most amount of information. I've been doing podcasts all the way back to 2017, almost 10 years now, going on 8 years. I have given away the most amount of information dating back 2017. We have the group where every single morning I'm doing an absolute brain dump of everything that I have in my head, answer every single question in the comments, on Instagram, in the group, on podcast, put out a ton of content, 4 videos a week by now. You would think by me putting out all of this information and all of this content that I'm just cutting the legs out under me and my business should be suffering, right? My business should be suffering because I'm giving out all the secrets, all the tips, all the tricks, all the hacks. I'm giving it away to everybody. Since 2017, has given away everything. Why has my business not suffered? Why has my reselling business grown? 2019 did $1 million. 2020, 2021, 2.5 million. After that, 5 million total in clothing sales. After that, 10 million. Like, why has my business not suffered if I've given away to the keys of the kingdom? Why? But the more information that I've given away, the more money that I've made. How is there a correlation between that? There is no crab in a bucket mentality anymore. There is no scarcity mentality anymore. There is no defensive mentality anymore. It is abundance. It is offensive. If we are not thinking in abundance, if we are not thinking in offense, then we will fail. You can always, the abundance mentality is you can earn an unlimited amount of money. Unlimited. Look at Elon Musk. The guy's got 300, 400 billion dollars. The guy's going to get $1 trillion. However you feel about him. The abundance mentality is unlimited. He might get $1 quadrillion one day. It's unlimited. The saving mentality, the abundance mentality is an offensive mentality. I'm going to go out there and go get it. I'm going to wake up early and be a self-starter. I'm not going to let anybody hold me back. There is no scarcity mentality. There's items everywhere. I'm going to do this. I'm going to rock and roll. That is the abundance mentality, the offensive mentality. The defensive mentality is there's not enough to go around. I can't tell anybody nothing. I can't tell people what I do. I need to save, save, save. The difference between the abundant, the offensive mentality, and the defensive and the save mentality is you can earn any amount of money that you want. It's unlimited. You can only save to 0. You can't save to -1. You can't save to -2. You can't save to -5. You can't. You can only save to 0, but you can earn an unlimited amount. So like for me, I don't focus on saving. I focus on earning. I can earn way more than I can save. So maybe there is a poly bag out there that I can save 5 cents a piece. But the amount of time that it takes me to shop around a poly bag where I can save 5 cents, and then in 2 months when I place an order again and try to save 5 cents again because this one has gone up 5 cents, the amount of time it takes for me to go around and shop and try to save, how much money can I earn by just going forward and just paying the extra 5 cents by repeating the order and just going out there and rocking and rolling and making money? So like the amount of money that we can earn is way powerful, way more upside than the amount of money that we can save. And there's only 2 ways to make more money, to make more profit. One is to decrease your expenses, or one is to sell more items. And you can only decrease your expenses so much, but you can sell unlimited amounts of items, literally unlimited. So like for me, getting over that defensive, getting over that scared, that worried, getting over that I got to protect and I got to conserve, getting over all of that. And a lot of that is ingrained in all of us. It was ingrained in me. I didn't grow up with much. My mom was a single mom. She worked 2 shifts, 2 to 10, 11 to 7. I saw my mom only taking us to school in the morning. She slept or ran errands while we were at school. When we got out of school, we came home to an empty house with no parent. So like we didn't have a whole bunch. We fend for ourselves after school, pizza rolls, bagel bites, like raviolis. That was me. So like a lot of this is ingrained in us where we have to protect. We have to be secretive. We can't tell anybody what we're doing, what we have. We can't give away the secret. Like We have to like build a wall out there. A lot of that is ingrained in all of us. It was ingrained in me for a very long time. But when you start doing better and you start getting around different people and you start listening to the other possibilities that are around in this world and in this business, it is truly, truly amazing. And like the only people that talked to me pretty much ever my entire career were only people that were doing better than me. It was hard to talk to someone that I was doing better than because, again, they have that crab in a bucket mentality. They don't want to share. There's no secrets. The other day, I was working at my warehouse and the guy who owns my warehouse was driving by and I was talking to him and, he spent 45 minutes with me. He doesn't have to spend 45 minutes with me. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. This guy has, $100 million net worth, maybe $200 million net worth. Guy's got several properties, a humongous business where like he's done over 3 million installations of his business. There's people that are listening to this podcast that have this guy's product that he invented without a doubt. If you own a home, you probably have the product. And like this guy is so financially well off where he can spend 45 minutes and just talk about, give insight, give advice, hey, look, I'm sitting on a bunch of money, man. Like, what's the recommendation? Oh, you know what? I actually know someone that has a property. I was actually thinking about looking at it, but don't worry about it. Maybe it's better suited for you. Like, nobody does that unless you are uber successful. You are of an abundance mentality where you can toss somebody a piece of property as like, no problem, don't worry about it. I'll get the next one. Like the only time that I've ever experienced any haters, any hate is by someone who does less than you. There is nobody out there higher up than you that's going to hate on you because they know how hard you had to work to get to the level that you're at. And for me, I talk to a lot of resellers. I am always pleasant. I am always respectful to everybody because I know how hard it is. I know how hard you guys are working out there. I've been there. I've done it all the way from pile in the corner inventory system to a row of totes to taking over my whole bedroom to taking over my whole house to having a storage unit to having 2 storage units to having 3 storage units to having a small warehouse to storing stuff in my garage to having a large warehouse, 2 large warehouses, 3 large warehouses. I've done it all. I've done it all. I can relate to every single situation that you guys are going through and you guys are dealing with. From flat broke, can't pay the bills, trying to get this figured out, working my best, doing 17 hours a day. And when you add it up, we're making $2 an hour. I've been there. I've been there for each and every one of those things. That's why I try to remain as humble as possible because I've been there. I've been there. This is not easy. This is not easy at all. This is a very, very hard business to do because of all the hats that we have to wear. But if we can start to get help, if we can reach out to people, if we can place ourselves in a community that is supportive, that's half the battle because like you don't have to figure out all of this on your own. And there's a tremendous amount of wealth on YouTube where there are people happily sharing what's working for them, what they have found success doing, and openly sharing the secrets, the hacks, what's working today. There's people out there. Follow people that are giving genuine good advice about what's working, what's practical, what's actionable. The amount of information on the internet is not scarce either. There should not be a crab in a bucket mentality with the amount of information. Information is the most valuable commodity on the face of the earth. That's why Google is worth so much. That's why Apple is worth so much. That's why all of these companies are worth so much because they have your information. Information is the most valuable commodity on the face of the earth. And I happily give it away. Ever since 2017, did my very first podcast with someone, no secrets, give it all away. On Instagram, you can write me, no secrets. I steer people in the right direction as much as I humanly possibly can. Someone posts a tag, I say, good one, here's where it is. That's a Michael Jordan Hoops Hero. It's worth about $150. Great item, great sale, good work. Pick up more of those and do only that and you'll be just fine. Like if you ever have a question, I'm there. You ever post a comment on my video, I'm there. You ever need anything, I'm there. I've been through it. I've done it. I've gone through the highs. I've gone through the lows. I've gone through the in-betweens. I know this is hard. This is a hard time to be a business owner in America. This is a hard time to be a business owner in the world. And I'm there for each and every one of you that are there. People in the group, their success is important to me. They know that. And whatever they need, I'm there. I always want to help people, elevate people, get people started doing things, bring them to the top, because that is my success. I am immensely successful. I'm happy. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, my family is set up, everything is good. My mission as a dad, as a spouse, as a human, my mission is accomplished. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, it's mission accomplished. I'm happy, I'm content, we did it. All my trophies from here on out is the amount of people that I can help. And by doing this podcast, I don't need anything from anybody. We have the group. I think the group is the best value running. It's $1 per day. And it's only $1 to keep the yahoos out so it doesn't turn into a cesspool of a babysitting management group. That's it. That's it. That is the only reason why it's $1. Because it could easily be $2 and nobody would complain, and I would double my take home. But it's not. It's $1. I've added so many more calls, paid so many more people out of pocket, given so many more people opportunities to flourish in the community and bring themselves up due to their knowledge and hard work, where I've never even increased the price. It's not about the money. It's just that is the gate to keep people from being crazy and have someone have a little bit of skin in the game and be professional and have no drama. That's it. It's $1 is the barrier to entry between super serious, I'm going to conduct myself in a professional manner, and the dark side. That's it. I could easily charge $2, double my take home, and not a single person would complain. The value is there. I could charge hundreds of dollars. The value is there, but it's not about the money. It's just about helping. I want to help as many people as possible. That's why I do this podcast. I don't need anything from anybody. I just need your attention and a commitment to be actionable. That's it. So your attention, thank you for giving it to me. I do appreciate it. I know I put out a lot of videos. I know it's a fire hose of information, but I want to put out different videos for each kind of different person. The podcast, long form, don't watch it like you're watching TV. Watch it like you're doing while you're taking pictures. Listen to it while you are doing your listings. Listen to it when you're at the bins. Be active, be working. Don't just watch this like TV. You can watch LeBron. You could watch ER. You could watch, Harry Potter. Don't watch me. Listen while you're doing something. So I put this out there for those folks while they're working. The Q&As, I know a lot of the questions are repeatable, but some of them are new questions. I do that for the new people. I do that for the people that are really have basic questions, trying to figure it out. And someone who has, made it to the top of their game, turning on the computer, spending as much time as possible. You don't see that anywhere. And when I was on the come up and when I needed help, nobody was there. Nobody. When I had a question, nobody was there. I hit up these people that were big dogs. I hit up these people that were successful. They didn't write back. They could care less. It's a front. They turn on the computer and that's it. They turn it off and walk away. You send me a message, I'm there. You ask me a question, I knock out every single question on that Q&A because I just genuinely want to help people, give a helping hand. I'm not in the crab in a bucket mentality. I'm not there. I'm not trying to push anybody down. I want to bring everybody up. So someday when someone does become the #1 seller in whatever, they can go, yo, that dude helped me. I remember I reached out and asked that dude a question. He helped me. That's all that I'm looking for. I don't need anything from anybody. I just need your attention, commitment to be actionable. So the long form ones, listen to it while you're working. The Q&A, I understand. Maybe that's for, newer resellers, intermediate resellers. That's what I'm there for. The Monday world domination, just to show you what's possible. A lot of people think that's not possible. That's my reality. That's possible. You guys can go out and make it do it. I show you how to build the relationships. I show you how to talk to people. I'm showing you how to find flea markets. I'm showing you what to look for, teaching you sell through, teaching you BOLOs, trying to get all of this information in my mind, download it on YouTube for as many people that want to listen to it. I just started releasing a video on Thursdays, very short, 10, 12, 13 minutes, just a quick hit of a brain dump of a piece of information, something that I'm thinking about that week to reach the people that don't have 25 minutes to watch a video, that don't have an hour to watch this, that don't have an hour to listen to Q&A. 10, 12 minutes, something actionable that can go out and help you and go out and make more money. I'm trying to serve everybody. So like by me putting out more videos, they're going to get less views per video because not everyone can watch anything, but hopefully I can reach a broader audience and provide value to as many people as possible, because that's all I want to do. I'm not in the scarcity mentality no more. I once was, but no more. We can walk into any thrift store in America. We can go to the flea market. We can make a relationship. We can dig in the trash. Like there are items everywhere. So if we can find businesses, if we can find partners to saddle up next to, whether it be a flea market vendor, whether it be a storage unit person, whether it be an estate clean out, no matter where it is, there are items everywhere. And if we can leverage their business, we can leverage their expertise, we can leverage their time, we can leverage their experience. It can only help us in our business so long as we treat them with the same respect. They had to work all week. They woke up early. It's raining. It sucks setting up at the flea market. You know, kind of like pay them for their time, pay them for their expertise, pay them for their service. And as long as I've done that, in the very short amount of time that I have done that, 5 or so years, my business has exploded exponentially. So like that is the biggest piece of advice that I can tell you and talk to you, all of you guys, where like, it's one thing to take photos. It's one thing to learn how to do listings. It's one thing to learn how to do keywords. It's one thing to learn the knowledge, to remember the BOLOs, to learn sell through. Like that's one thing. The most important thing in reselling is the relationships and the product. And this week we had the number one shoe seller. He's been in the group for a while. He jumped on one of the calls. And, he said that, people are asking him, hey, how's business? And he said, business is only good as my relationships and the products that I have. If I have bad products, business is going to be bad. If my relationships are not pulling through, business is going to be bad. So my business is only as good as my relationships and as good as the products that I have. And we should all be striving to look for the best products and all be striving to make the best relationships. That is key. And that's what I like to spend the most amount of time talking about inside of the group is how do we get these relationships? How do we cultivate these relationships? It is super important. It is of the utmost importance. We cannot no longer in 2025, we cannot be blinders on, lone wolf, never talking to anybody. Please, I'm begging you, I'm pleading you, all of the information that I've given online, all of it, if you're going to take one piece of it, go out there and make a relationship. If you're new, it's okay. Like Arwen told us this week, and I asked him on the call because this one helped me. I'm shy. I don't have the most confidence. You guys just see me on here turning on the camera. I'm doing a job. This is my job. But if I didn't have to do this, I wouldn't. I'm not the most confident. I'm not the most outgoing. I'm not. I go out, I try my best, and every single time I try my best, something happens. Every single time I give myself another opportunity, I get lucky in another situation. It's funny how that works. Like we put forth more effort, we get more luckier. But Arwen, I asked him, I said, Arwen, and he's very outgoing, very bright, very talented, very smart. And I said, mate, how do you get the confidence to go in and talk to someone that owns a shop? How do you get the confidence to introduce yourself to someone in a situation or a scenario that's outside of a conventional kind of deal-making situation, which would be the flea market or the car boot or a thrift store? How do you get this confidence? Because for me, I'm not that confident to walk into a store and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I see you got a bunch of clothes. What is there? How can I step in here and fill a need for you? Do you sell size 12s? Great. Do you sell size 10s? Great. But since you only are in a city this big, maybe you need help selling the 13s or the 14s. Guess what? I'm your guy. Selling to me. I have a worldwide audience. I can get this taken care for you. And how else can I help your business? I asked Arwen this. And Arwen says, you know what? Before I walk in the store, the answer is already no. It's already no. I don't have the relationship. I don't have the deal. I don't have the product. So it's already no. So if I walk in and they tell me no, I've gained nothing. I lost nothing. If I walk in, they tell me yes, I've only gained. So there's only upside in putting yourself out there. And maybe 10 years ago, there was a stigma about reselling. People would get mad at resellers. You go to a garage sale, there's a sign that says no resellers. You ask a price and they say, are you a reseller? And they pull it. That's no more. That's no more. That's done. That might be 1 in a million people that'll get upset because you're a reseller, but there's no more. It's finished. It's over. You can tell people you're a reseller. You could tell people this is what I do. You could tell people you sell online. You can say you have an online store, an online business. People are more acceptable of that. Long gone are those days. Don't be bashful. Don't be afraid. Tell people what you do. Explain to them, hey, there's photos, there's listings, there's customers. It might take me 6 months to sell this. I got to pay taxes. I got to do my bookkeeping. I got to mail it out. I got to do customer service. I have to accept returns. It's not easy, but this is the business that I'm in. So like, even though they might know this is worth $50, yeah, if you want all the $50, go right ahead and list it online, and you can deal with the photos, the listing, the customers, the storage, the bookkeeping, the marketing, the race to the bottom, the promoted listings, the fees, the offers to watchers, the messages, you could deal with all of that. But I'm here. This is my business. I do sell online, and I will take that from you for $15, and I will sell it for $50. I'll pay the fees. I'll deal with everybody, and you can get your money, and you can be up the road, and you can go find something else to do today. Great. And we can make a relationships, and we can form a bond like that. So like, keep extending yourself, keep putting yourself out there, keep knocking on doors, keep talking to people, call people. I know a guy who is in a crazy niche. He's in like the video game collectible niche. This guy used to go through the phone book, and he used to call places that used to be Nintendo authorized repair shops. And he would call them and say, hey, is this still this? Do you guys still have this? Do you have any paperwork? Do you have any posters? Do you have any displays? Do you have any old Nintendo stuff? And they'd say, yeah. And he'd drive out to New Orleans. He'd drive out to Minnesota. He'd drive to California because he's met them through the phone book. This guy went so far into looking at the closing credits on video games, try to find these people on the internet, and then try to strike deals with them because he's looking for the most obscure, the most rare, the most collectible Nintendo and video game, paraphernalia and product that he's looking for. So like, there is ways to network. It might be unconventional. It might be conventional. A lot of the things that people are talking about and recommending now are stuff that I've been doing for a long time. And if we could be 5 years, 10 years ahead of everybody, that's where all the money is to be made. So like, at the flea market, talk to the vendors. At the bins, talk to the t-shirt mafia. Don't be afraid of them. Do you know how much money I've made with guys in the t-shirt mafia? Hey, bro, you're looking for vintage. I saw you throw back 8,000 pieces of Lululemon this year. You know who buys Lululemon? This guy. Hey, I see you throw away Tommy Bahama. You know who buys Tommy Bahama? This guy. You see that Patagonia over there that you think is trash? I'll buy it. So instead of you shifting through everything to find one shirt a day and you go home and you buy one shirt, sift through everything, find 30 pieces. I'll give you $5 each and you make $120 profit every single day. Doesn't that sound like a great idea? Yeah, that does sound like a great idea. So you already have an expertise. You're already putting in the reps. You're here every single day. I see you. If I find a vintage item, a Carhartt jacket, it's yours. No problem. I'm not worried about it. But if you find 800 pieces of Lululemon, you find 16 Patagonias, you find 26 Tommy Bahamas, you look for Travis Matthew, you look for Roan, you look for Untuckit, you look for Peter Millar's, you look for Robert Graham's, I'll buy it all. And I have built guys from 10 items a week all the way up to bringing me 1,000 items every single week. Some of my t-shirt bins mafia guys make more money than doctors because I formed the relationship and bought items that they threw away. They're over here bringing 1,000 pieces that they spend $1,000 a week on. I'm buying it for $5,000. They make $200,000 a year profit off of garbage that they were throwing away. Now they make $200,000 a year. And guess what? Do you think they care about one vintage tee anymore? Absolutely not. I get that too. Hey, I found this Tupac, me against the world shirt. I know it's worth about $2,000. No problem. Here it is, $5. You know why? Because I'm making $200,000 a year. I'm not worried about one tee no more. Gone are those days. I'm no longer in the scarcity mentality. I'm in the abundance mentality. So I'm going to take this money. I'm going to go back to the bins and I'm going to flip it over and over and over again. So you see the guys at the t-shirt mafia. You see the guys at the flea market. You see people at the thrift store. You see people out and about. Make the relationships. Open up your mouth. How can we have a mutually beneficial relationship here? Let me help you help me. That is how you get to the top. Let me help you help me. You have just won the reseller lottery by being next to me at the bins and me saying, hey, don't throw this Patagonia away, give it to me. Hey, I know a guy, he buys tons of clothing. If you can find great stuff, I can put you on. Like, open your mouth, make the relationships. Like Arwen said, it's already a no. If the t-shirt mafia guy doesn't want to do business with you, no problem. You turn around to this person, because guess what? Not everybody is a fool. If they don't want $1,000 a week or 500 a week or 300 a week, no problem. You ask the person over here, and eventually you will find somebody. It doesn't have to be a t-shirt mafia guy. It could be a lady who buys lady clothes and you buys men's clothes. And when you see Lily Pulitzer, when you see Viari, when you see Lululemon, that goes to her. When she sees men's clothing, that goes to you. We can have a mutual beneficial symbiotic relationship. We got to think. We have to think. There is more product out there than what people know what to do with. It's our job to make the relationship to go get it. They have rag houses. In every single city in America, there is a consolidation point where all the clothing goes, whether it's after the bins, before Goodwill, through donation boxes. Those items get consolidated. Those items either go to Texas, California, Florida, New York, port cities, and those items get sold to the Caribbean, to South America, to Africa, to India, to Pakistan, to the Middle East. Those clothes go everywhere. We need to position ourselves where we can say, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're looking for. This is what I would like to buy. And I would like to grow. And as my business grows, I want to spend more money with you. And maybe you can find more bales. Maybe you can get a line on different product. Maybe you can talk to someone else who you know that owns a facility like this. It's all about talking. We have to talk. If we keep our mouth closed, our wallet is going to be closed. We open up our mouth, you open up the wallet, the money will rain in. So don't be a fool like me and spend the first 10 years of your career head down, eyes closed, lone wolf, fighting against everybody in my own mind. And for me, I needed that. I needed that at some portions of my time to develop a nemesis, to develop someone, an enemy in my head to get me out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because if I don't wake up right now at 4 o'clock in the morning, this other person is, even though they wasn't, but in my head they was. The whole reason why I was doing 120 a day is because I thought everyone in the world was doing 100 a day. And I come to find out no one else is even doing 100 a day. So here I am doing 120. So get out there, talk to people, shake hands, kiss babies, become a flea market politician, talk to people, generally care about people. How are they doing? How is everybody? Oh, your husband is sick. What's going on? How can I help? If there's anything that you need, let me know. Be a good person. Allow them to make money. Be honest. Have a good character. Be dependable. And just overall network. Collaborate. Don't compete. Don't buy into the crab in a bucket mentality. A lot of stuff that we see online, in the bins, in thrift stores, in the community is negative, failure. You can't, we can't, it's not winnable, not sustainable, no longer possible. Guys, my business has never been better. I'm selling thousands of pieces of clothing every single day. It's not over. It's not finished. When it's over and finished, I'll tell you. I will come on here and say, yo, this is over. The goose is cooked. I hope you got your money saved up because it's time to do something else. It's a wrap. I will tell you. When it's done, when I'm done, I will tell you. But there are people in the group that are getting it done. First year, 100,000. Second year, 200,000. There's people doing 3, 4, 5. There's people doing $1 million that started with me 5 years ago and was doing 30,000. It is true. It is alive. It is possible. There are people killing it in America. There are people killing it in the UK. There are people killing it in Australia. If there is a will, there is a way, but we have to evolve with the times. And one of the evolutions that I think we all must make, and my biggest evolution to bring me more towards my final form of what you see today, is networking, opening my mouth, starting to talk to people, get out of the scarcity mentality. The scarcity mentality has cost me millions of dollars. If I would have been networking back in 2013, 2012, I might be a bajillionaire right now. So how much money did that cost me? How much money did it cost me by keeping my mouth closed? Like Arwen said, the answer was already no. He was right. I went to the flea market, didn't say nothing to nobody. The answer was no. I came home with exactly what I was supposed to come home with. Where if I would have opened my mouth and talked to people, maybe, just maybe, I would have got a yes. But if you don't talk to anybody, if you don't show up, you don't know. So celebrate people's wins, be a positive force in the community, be a positive force in your local area, lead by example. If you're doing good, bring people up around you, because when you bring people up around you, in turn, you will still raise up as well. They will be supportive of you. If everyone's making money, that's great. We have to think about, is money flat for stacking up, or is money round for going around? The money is round for going around. If everybody's making money around you, trust me, you're going to be making money. Like they say, like you are the result of the 5 people you hang around. If you hang around 4 people that have a scarcity mentality, the sky is falling, this and that, failure, rejection, there's nothing out there, absolutely, that's what it's going to be. If you hang around 4 people that's getting after it, boots on the ground, making it happen, positive, productive, showing results, being actionable, what do you think you're going to be? So I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I get a little bit passionate, but I love doing this. I love putting out information, love helping people. And if you ever need any help, post a comment below, hit me on Instagram. I'm always there. And if I'm able to help, I'm willing and ready to do so. So I won't take up too much more of everybody's time today. I do appreciate everybody. As always, be great. Thank you.